Welcome to our channel, History of Everything. Today we speak about history of Pakistan. Pakistan, officially the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, is a country in South Asia. It is the fifth most populous country, with a population of over 241.5 million, having the second largest Muslim population as of 2023. Islamabad is the nation's capital, while Karachi is its largest city and financial center. Pakistan is the 33rd largest country by area, 9th largest in Asia and the second largest in South Asia. Bounded by the Arabian Sea on the south, the Gulf of Oman on the southwest, and the Sur Creek on the southeast, it shares land borders with India to the east, Afghanistan to the west, Iran to the southwest, and China to the northeast. It shares a maritime border with Oman in the Gulf of Oman, and is separated from Tajikistan in the northwest by Afghanistan's narrow Wakhan corridor. Pakistan is the site of several ancient cultures, including the 8,500-year-old Neolithic site of Mehrgarh in Baluchistan, the Indus Valley Civilization of the Bronze Age, and the ancient Gandhara civilization. The regions that comprise the modern state of Pakistan were the realm of multiple empires and dynasties, including the Achaemenid, the Maurya, the Kushan, the Gupta, the Umayyad Caliphate in its southern regions, the Sama, the Hindu Shahis, the Shah Miris, the Ghaznavids, the Delhi Sultanate, the Mughals, and most recently, the British Raj from 1858 to 1947. Spurred by the Pakistan movement, which sought a homeland for the Muslims of British India, and election victories in 1946 by the All India Muslim League, Pakistan gained independence in 1947 after the partition of the British Indian Empire, which awarded separate statehood to its Muslim-majority regions and was accompanied by an unparalleled mass migration and loss of life. Initially a dominion of the British Commonwealth, Pakistan officially drafted its constitution in 1956, and emerged as a declared Islamic republic. In 1971, the exclave of East Pakistan seceded as the new country of Bangladesh after a 9-month-long civil war. In the following 4 decades, Pakistan has been ruled by governments whose descriptions, although complex, commonly alternated between civilian and military, democratic and authoritarian, relatively secular and Islamist. Pakistan elected a civilian government in 2008, and in 2010 adopted a parliamentary system with periodic elections. Pakistan is considered a middle power nation, with the world's 6th largest standing armed forces. It is a declared nuclear weapons state, and is ranked amongst the emerging and growth-leading economies, with a large and rapidly growing middle class. Pakistan's political history since independence has been characterized by periods of significant economic and military growth as well as those of political and economic instability. It is an ethnically and linguistically diverse country, with similarly diverse geography and wildlife. The country continues to face challenges, including poverty, illiteracy, corruption, and terrorism. Pakistan is a member of the United Nations, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Commonwealth of Nations, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, and the Islamic Military Counterterrorism Coalition, and is designated as a major non-NATO ally by the United States. Some of the earliest ancient human civilizations in South Asia originated from areas encompassing present-day Pakistan. The earliest known inhabitants in the region were Sogdian during the Lower Paleolithic, of whom stone tools have been found in the Soan Valley of Punjab. The Indus region, which covers most of the present-day Pakistan, was the site of several successive ancient cultures. Including the Neolithic, 7,4300 BCE, site of Mehrgarh, and the 5,000-year history of urban life in South Asia to the various sites of the Indus Valley Civilization, including Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. Following the decline of the Indus Valley Civilization, Indo-Aryan tribes moved into the Punjab from Central Asia in several waves of migration in the Vedic period, 1500-500 BCE, bringing with them their distinctive religious traditions and practices which fused with local culture. The Indo-Aryans' religious beliefs and practices from the Bactria Marjana culture and the native Harappan Indus beliefs of the former Indus Valley Civilization eventually gave rise to Vedic culture and tribes. Most notable among them was Gandhara civilization, which flourished at the crossroads of India, Central Asia, and the Middle East, connecting trade routes and absorbing cultural influences from diverse civilizations. The initial early Vedic culture was a tribal, pastoral society centered in the Indus Valley, of what is today Pakistan. During this period the Vedas, the oldest scriptures of Hinduism, were composed. The western regions of Pakistan became part of Achaemenid Empire around 519 BCE. In 326 BCE, Alexander the Great conquered the region by defeating various local rulers, most notably, the king Porus, at Jhelum. It was followed by the Maurya Empire, founded by Chandragupta Maurya and extended by Ashoka the Great, until 185 BCE. The Indo-Greek kingdom founded by Demetrius of Bactria, 181-65 BCE, included Gandhara and Punjab and reached its greatest extent under Menander, 165-150 BCE, prospering the Greco-Buddhist culture in the region. Taxila had one of the earliest universities and centers of higher education in the world, which was established during the late Vedic period in the 6th century BCE. The school consisted of several monasteries without large dormitories or lecture halls where the religious instruction was provided on an individualistic basis. The ancient university was documented by the invading forces of Alexander the Great and was also recorded by Chinese pilgrims in the 4th or 5th century CE. At its zenith, the Rai dynasty, 489-632 CE, ruled Sindh and the surrounding territories. The Arab conqueror Muhammad ibn Qasim conquered Sindh and some regions of Punjab in 711 CE. The Pakistan government's official chronology claims this as the time when the foundation of Pakistan was laid, but the concept of Pakistan arrived in the 19th century. The early medieval period, 642-1219 CE, witnessed the spread of Islam in the region. Before the arrival of Islam beginning in the 8th century, the region comprising Pakistan was home to a diverse plethora of faiths, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and Zoroastrianism. During this period, Sufi missionaries played a pivotal role in converting a majority of the regional population to Islam. Upon the defeat of the Turk and Hindu Shahi dynasties which governed the Kabul Valley, Gandhara, present-day Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and western Punjab in the 7th to 11th centuries CE, several successive Muslim empires ruled over the region, including the Ghaznavid Empire, 975-1187 CE, the Ghorid Kingdom, and the Delhi Sultanate, 1206-1526 CE. The Lodi dynasty, the last of the Delhi Sultanate, was replaced by the Mughal Empire, 1526-1857 CE. The Mughals introduced Persian literature and high culture, establishing the roots of Indo-Persian culture in the region. In the region of modern-day Pakistan, key cities during the Mughal period were Multan, Lahore, Peshawar and Thatta, which were chosen as the site of impressive Mughal buildings. In the early 16th century, the region remained under the Mughal Empire. In the 18th century, the slow disintegration of the Mughal Empire was hastened by the emergence of the rival powers of the Maratha Confederacy and later the Sikh Empire, as well as invasions by Nader Shah from Iran in 1739 and the Durrani Empire of Afghanistan in 1759. The growing political power of the British in Bengal had not yet reached the territories of modern Pakistan. None of modern Pakistan was under British rule until 1839 when Karachi, a small fishing village governed by Talpurs of Sindh with a mud fort guarding the harbour, was taken, and used as an enclave with a port and military base for the First Afghan War that ensued. The remainder of Sindh was acquired in 1843, and subsequently, through a series of wars and treaties, the East India Company, and later, after the post-Sepoy Mutiny 1857-1858, direct rule by Queen Victoria of the British Empire, acquired most of the region. Key conflicts included those against the Baloch Talpur dynasty, resolved by the Battle of Miani 1843, in Sindh, the Anglo-Sikh Wars 1845-1849, and the Anglo-Afghan Wars 1839-1919. By 1893, all modern Pakistan was part of the British Indian Empire, and remained so until independence in 1947. Under British rule, modern Pakistan was primarily divided into the Sindh Division, Punjab Province, and the Baluchistan Agency. The region also included various princely states, with the largest being Bahawalpur. The major armed struggle against the British in the region was the rebellion known as the Sepoy Mutiny of Bengal in 1857. Divergence in the relationship between Hinduism and Islam resulted in significant tension in British India, leading to religious violence. The language controversy further exacerbated tensions between Hindus and Muslims. The Hindu Renaissance witnessed an intellectual awakening in traditional Hinduism, leading to increased influence in the social and political spheres of British India. A Muslim intellectual movement, led by Sir Syed Ahmed Khan to counter the Hindu Renaissance, advocated for the two-nation theory and led to the establishment of the All India Muslim League in 1906. Unlike the Indian National Congress's anti-British stance, the Muslim League embraced British values, shaping Pakistan's future society. The largely nonviolent independence movement, led by the Indian National Congress under Mahatma Gandhi, engaged millions in mass campaigns of civil disobedience in the 1920s and 1930s against the British Empire. The Muslim League gained momentum in the 1930s due to concerns about British neglect of Indian Muslims in politics. In his December 29, 1930 address, Allama Iqbal advocated for the amalgamation of Muslim-majority states in northwest India, including Punjab, Northwest Frontier Province, Sindh, and Baluchistan. The perception of Congress-led British provincial governments neglecting Muslim League from 1937 to 1939 prompted Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, to advocate the two-nation theory. This led to the adoption of the Lahore Resolution of 1940, presented by Sher-e Bangla A.K. Fazl-ul-Haq, also known as the Pakistan Resolution. In 1939, the Muslim League together with the Hindu Mahasabha and the other non-Congress parties formed alliance governments in many states after the mass resignations from the Indian National Congress due to their opposition towards inclusion of India in the World War II without prior consultation. By 1942, Congress under Gandhi's leadership launched the Quit India movement to demand immediate independence from the British rule. The movement was opposed by Jinnah. During World War II, Jinnah and other leaders in the Muslim League supported the UK's war efforts, thus advancing the possibility of the creation of a Muslim nation. The 1946 election saw the Muslim League secure 90% of the Muslim seats, supported by the landowners of Sindh and Punjab. This forced the Indian National Congress, initially skeptical of the League's representation of Indian Muslims, to acknowledge its significance. 85-86, Jinnah's emergence as the voice of the Indian Muslims compelled the British to consider his stance, despite their reluctance to partition India. In a final attempt to prevent partition, they proposed the Cabinet Mission Plan. As the Cabinet Mission failed, the British announced their intention to end rule in 1946-47. Nationalists in British India, including Jawaharlal Nehru and Abul Kalam Azad of Congress, Jinnah of the All India Muslim League, and Master Tara Singh representing the Sikhs, agreed to the proposed terms of transfer of power and independence in June 1947 with the Viceroy of India, Lord Mountbatten of Burma. As the United Kingdom agreed to the partitioning of India in 1947, the modern state of Pakistan was established on 14 August 1947, 27th of Ramadan in 1366 of the Islamic calendar, amalgamating the Muslim-majority eastern and northwestern regions of British India. It comprised the provinces of Baluchistan, East Bengal, the Northwest Frontier Province, West Punjab, and Sindh. In the riots that accompanied the partition in Punjab province, between 200,000 and 2,090,000 people were killed in what some have described as a retributive genocide between the religions. Around 50,000 Muslim women were abducted and raped by Hindu and Sikh men, while 33,000 Hindu and Sikh women experienced the same fate at the hands of Muslims. Around 6.5 million Muslims moved from India to West Pakistan and 4.7 million Hindus and Sikhs moved from West Pakistan to India. It was the largest mass migration in human history. 94, a subsequent dispute over the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir eventually sparked the Indo-Pakistani War of 1947-1948. After independence in 1947, Jinnah, the president of the Muslim League, became Pakistan's first Governor-General and the first President-Speaker of the Parliament, but he succumbed to tuberculosis on the 11th of September 1948. Meanwhile, Pakistan's founding fathers agreed to appoint Liaquat Ali Khan, the Secretary-General of the party, the nation's first Prime Minister. From 1947 to 1956, Pakistan was a monarchy within the Commonwealth of Nations, and had two monarchs before it became a republic. The creation of Pakistan was never fully accepted by many British leaders including Lord Mountbatten. Mountbatten expressed his lack of support and faith in the Muslim League's idea of Pakistan. Jinnah refused Mountbatten's offer to serve as Governor-General of Pakistan. When Mountbatten was asked by Collins and LaPierre if he would have sabotaged Pakistan had he known that Jinnah was dying of tuberculosis, he replied, "Most probably." Maulana Shabir Ahmad Usmani, a respected Deobandi alim, scholar, who held the position of Sheikh al-Islam in Pakistan in 1949, and Maulana Maududi of Jamaat-i-Islami played key roles in advocating for an Islamic constitution. Maududi insisted that the Constituent Assembly declare the supreme sovereignty of God and the supremacy of the Sharia in Pakistan. The efforts of Jamaat-i-Islami and the ulama led to the passage of the Objectives Resolution in March 1949. This resolution, described by Liaquat Ali Khan as the second most significant step in Pakistan's history, affirmed that Sovereignty over the entire universe belongs to God Almighty alone, and the authority which He has delegated to the state of Pakistan through its people for being exercised within the limits prescribed by Him is a sacred trust. It was later included as a preamble to the constitutions of 1956, 1962, and 1973. Democracy faced setbacks due to the martial law imposed by President Iskander Mirza, who was succeeded by General Ayub Khan. After adopting a presidential system in 1962, Pakistan witnessed significant growth until the Second War with India in 1965, resulting in an economic downturn and widespread public discontent in 1967. In 1969, President Yahya Khan consolidated control, but faced a devastating cyclone in East Pakistan resulting in 500,000 deaths. In 1970, Pakistan conducted its first democratic elections since independence, intending to transition from military rule to democracy. However, after the East Pakistani Awami League emerged victorious over the Pakistan People's Party (PPP), Yahya Khan and the military refused to transfer power. This led to Operation Searchlight, a military crackdown, and eventually sparked the War of Liberation by Bengali Mukti Bahini forces in East Pakistan, described in West Pakistan as a civil war rather than a liberation struggle. Independent researchers estimate that between 300,000 and 500,000 civilians died during this period, while the Bangladesh government puts the number of dead at 3 million, a figure that is now nearly universally regarded as excessively inflated. Some academics such as Rudolf Rummel and Runak Jahan say both sides committed genocide. Others such as Richard Sisson and Leo E. Rose believe there was no genocide. In response to India's support for the insurgency in East Pakistan, preemptive strikes on India by Pakistan's Air Force, Navy, and Marines sparked a conventional war in 1971 that resulted in an Indian victory and East Pakistan gaining independence as Bangladesh. With Pakistan surrendering in the war, Yahya Khan was replaced by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto as president. The country worked towards promulgating its constitution and putting the country on the road to democracy. Democratic rule resumed from 1972 to 1977, an era of self-consciousness, intellectual leftism, nationalism, and nationwide reconstruction. In 1972, Pakistan embarked on an ambitious plan to develop its nuclear deterrence capability with the goal of preventing any foreign invasion. The country's first nuclear power plant was inaugurated in that same year. Accelerated in response to India's first nuclear test in 1974, this crash program was completed in 1979. Democracy ended with a military coup in 1977 against the leftist PPP, which saw General Zia-ul-Haq become the president in 1978. From 1977 to 1988, President Zia's corporatization and economic Islamization initiatives led to Pakistan becoming one of the fastest growing economies in South Asia. While building up the country's nuclear program, increasing Islamization, and the rise of a homegrown conservative philosophy, Pakistan helped subsidize and distribute U.S. resources to factions of the Mujahideen against the USSR's intervention in communist Afghanistan. Pakistan's northwest frontier province became a base for the anti-Soviet Afghan fighters, with the province's influential Deobandi ulama playing a significant role in encouraging and organizing the jihad. President Zia died in a plane crash in 1988, and Benazir Bhutto, daughter of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, was elected as the country's first female prime minister. The PPP was followed by conservative Pakistan Muslim League (N), and over the next decade the leaders of the two parties fought for power, alternating in office. This period is marked by prolonged stagflation, instability, corruption, nationalism, geopolitical rivalry with India, and the clash of left-wing right-wing ideologies. As PMLN secured a supermajority in elections in 1997, Nawaz Sharif authorized nuclear testings, as a retaliation to the second nuclear tests conducted by India in May 1998. Military tension between the two countries in the Kargil district led to the Kargil War of 1999, and turmoil in civic-military relations allowed General Pervez Musharraf to take over through a bloodless coup d'état. Musharraf governed Pakistan as chief executive from 1999 to 2001 and as president from 2001 to 2008. A period of enlightenment, social liberalism, extensive economic reforms, and direct involvement in the US-led war on terrorism. By its own financial calculations, Pakistan's involvement in the war on terrorism has cost up to $118 billion, 60,000 casualties and more than 1.8 million displaced civilians. The National Assembly historically completed its first full 5-year term on the 15th of November 2007. After the assassination of Benazir Bhutto in 2007, the PPP secured the most votes in the elections of 2008, appointing party member Yusuf Raza Gilani as prime minister. Threatened with impeachment, President Musharraf resigned on the 18th of August 2008, and was succeeded by Asif Ali Zardari. Clashes with the judicature prompted Gilani's disqualification from the parliament and as the prime minister in June 2012. The general election held in 2013 saw the PMLN almost achieve a supermajority, following which Nawaz Sharif was elected as the prime minister for the third time. In 2018, PTI won the general election and Imran Khan became the 22nd prime minister. In April 2022, Shehbaz Sharif was elected as prime minister, after